everybody. So, what I want to talk about today is recently I was at a Toys R Us and I went there looking for a certain My Little Pony collectible, which I didn't find, by the way. But while I was there, I was obviously in the My Little Pony aisle because that's what I was looking for. And a couple things happened while I was there. While I was standing there, this family came into the aisle, and it was a little boy, I'd say maybe 6, 7-ish, maybe, and then his mom. And he started looking all over the ponies and I guess trying to, like he was trying to find something, and then he found something and he's like, Mom, I want this. And I must admit, for a minute there, I was kind of surprised because you don't really expect boys to much be into My Little Pony. And I think the reason that it surprises at least my generation is because when we grew up, things were a lot different. And I want to say, first off, I have absolutely no problem with kids of any gender playing with any toys. I have no problem with LGBT rights or the community or anything like that. But it is kind of different when you grew up in a society that was really different than that, and then you see how things are changing. And that little boy really, to me, kind of brought home how things were changing. And then, so he took the toy that he got and they left. And so I was still there a few minutes later, and another little boy came into the aisle, this one with mom and dad. And this little boy was probably a little bit older, but I wouldn't say too much older, maybe like 9 or 10 or something. And when he came into the aisle, he had like an Incredible Hulk toy. I'm not sure exactly what it was because I'm not really into Incredible Hulk, but I could tell it was something, related to that movie or series or whatever. And so he came into the aisle and he got really excited when he saw this Fluttershy, like, stuffed pony that lit up. And so he handed his dad the Hulk thing and was like, I don't want that anymore. I want the pony. And just like with the other little boy's mom, this boy's mother and father were, perfectly fine with that. And they were happy that, I mean, they didn't seem upset at all that he would rather have a pony than something, Hulk related. And the whole experience, it just really, to my mind, it brought, wow, there's really change going on there. I mean, parents are really becoming okay with their kids wanting to play with things that maybe aren't considered gender normal or anything like that. And when I was a kid, you didn't see that as much. I think girls were, it was okay if girls played with boys' toys because even myself, um, I did collect like My Little Pony and Barbies when I was a kid, but I didn't really play with them. I just would set them up, which part of that may be my Asperger's thing because I like to set things up or, display things and collect things. But the toys that I actually played with were more boys' toys. I had this huge track that was on the floor of our screened in porch. And like, I remember spending just so much time with that huge track and all the toy cars that, I played with it. And it was a beautiful track. Actually, if I remember right, I think one of my mom's boyfriends made it for me. And I mean, it was like an entire like community. And I mean, there were trees and, the roads and the buildings and everything. It was really cool. And I really enjoyed playing with that. And the other toys that I actually played with the most were probably building toys like Lincoln Logs or I didn't really play with Legos a whole lot. I used to play with these like cardboard boxes. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but they were like kind of like just cardboard boxes. They were like red, kind of looked like bricks, and they had them at the doctor's office, and you just like stack them and make like walls or things out of them. I don't know if anybody remembers those or if maybe it was just me, but I used to love to play with those. But when I was a kid, like boys playing with dolls, you didn't see that. Boys being into My Little Pony or into Barbie or anything that was really girly, you didn't see. And I'm not saying some boys didn't do it. Maybe they did it and, didn't tell anybody because they were afraid they'd get made fun of, or maybe their parents kind of discouraged it. And it's so different when I go out in the world today and I see, such open-mindedness and things changing. And I know Target recently announced that they're going to get rid of like the distinction between boys and girls toys, and I know that's been a big issue. Some people haven't been happy with that, and I respect other people's beliefs, but I don't see how getting rid of the distinction really matters that much, because you're still in control of what you buy your kids. So, I mean, you can still buy your kids whatever toys, you think are appropriate or what you want for them. So I don't get why just taking the signs down is such a huge deal. But I had to talk about kind of what I experienced at Toys R Us. And I must say, I mean, in some ways, it kind of, shocked me. It was like, wow, I didn't know that, you know, um, I didn't know that it was so common. And I mean, I've heard of, the brony culture, and I know, like, some boys and young men are really into My Little Pony. And, but I'd always kind of gotten the feeling too with that unfortunately they were made fun of or kind of ridiculed for liking that, because it wasn't, the typical boy thing. But it's kind of neat to see boys who aren't getting ridiculed. Their parents are like, it's a toy, who cares? Let them play with it. And I've heard the argument that if you let boys play with dolls, that they may actually grow up to be better parents. I have no idea if that's actually true or psychologically provable or anything like that. But it is an interesting thought, and I can see maybe how that could be true. So I don't think that allowing boys to like some of the same things girls like is necessarily going to, endanger their manhood or, I mean, it's not going to turn them gay if they're not gay. At least I don't think it will. I know some people think it will, but I mean, I played with boys' toys growing up, and I'm not gay, and I know little kids that I used to like teach kind of like a preschool class, and the boys, they would often want to play with the dolls with the girls. And I mean, I didn't really care, because it's like, if they want to play together and they're getting along and they're not fighting and they're not, trying to bite each other or hit each other, I was happy. So I never had a problem with, the boys playing with dolls with the girls, or the girls playing sports stuff with the boys, or any of that stuff. And I don't really understand people who have an issue with it, although I do respect everyone's right to their own opinion, and especially when it comes to how you raise your kids. That's, as long as you're not abusing them and hurting them, then I respect, different parenting beliefs and strategies. But I just thought this would be kind of interesting to share. And if you have kind of witnessed similar things lately, feel free to share kind of your thoughts and feelings on the situation. And if you have feelings about, the whole Target changing, boys, girls, toys thing, feel free to comment about that. And if you like this video, I hope you will consider subscribing. And in the description, you can find links to all my social media if you want to follow me on any of those sites, or if you want to see my books or my artwork or anything like that. And I also just want to say, if any of you really like this video and you want to participate in the YouTube fan funding thing on my page, I mean, that's always appreciated and great. If you want to do that, you can donate as little as $1, and it's just a way to tell YouTube vloggers that you like their stuff and you want them to keep doing it. So that's really all that's about. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you later. So bye.